Hello everyone, and welcome to another video about Art of Conquest. Today the topic is going to be Bazric. Bazric is a very powerful hero, and you can utilize him in very different ways. Generally, I'm running two specs on him. I'm running one spec for PvE content like dragons, the void, sieging, other stuff, and the other one is for PvP. The reason they are so vastly different is because of the bat blitz. The bat blitz requires Bazric to not be bound by shackles anymore. When the opponent has heroes on the battlefield, Bazric needs to get rid of 3 shackles. They're released by an interval. Can't quite. It says over here. He has 5 blood shackles that prevents him from casting any abilities. Every 12 seconds, Bazric breaks free of 1 blood shackle. When yeah, you can read the rest for yourself. The idea is he needs to get rid of those 5 blood shackles, and you can improve that by using abilities such as a Night Prowler. Having this one at 6 allows him to break free of his blood shackles by an interval of 9 seconds. This is my PvE spec. That means I got the Bat Blitz at level 5. The idea here is that I want to cast the Bat Blitz ability right away. I want to cast it on when I'm sieging on the backline troops. I want to cast it in the void to soften up those I find hard to deal with. So yeah, in general, this is the spec I'm using when I'm doing PvE content. When I go to the tower or I'm doing PvP, it can be in terms of succession war, stuff happening on the battlefield in general. Then I want to spec them like this. The main takeaway here is I want to improve my Night Prowler. It allows me to cast the Bat Blitz much sooner, and his attack speed is increased by 20%. He deals more damage. He has more crit. He has a lot of crit. And I also put some points on the Midnight Murderer. That allows me to attack enemy heroes, but if they're damaged, if they have less than 25 health, then Bazric can just finish them off by himself. Yeah, in general, yeah, you can take a look at this. It has some siphon health. You have the take wing ability. That's at least a 1-point wonder. It allows him to stay on the battlefield even though he should have been killed. So that's, I just put some abilities, some points on there because I didn't have anywhere else to utilize it. I guess you can do some hybrid specs as well. You could. This is pretty much a hybrid spec. I could drop some points in the Bat Blitz and improve my flurry, and I could also improve my Midnight Murderer, and that would make him even more useful in the PvP scenario. I might do that. I might throw a 3rd spec on him and really enhance the PvP on him there. When it comes to itemization, I was lucky enough to get my rogue set, do some morphing with very unfavorable odds, and first I used 2 hats to get a 3rd bow, and I needed to use more hats and bow to make the spring feather tunic. Yeah, it was a mess. I finally got it, but the thing is, before I was able to get this spring feather set, I used Umish's bow on him, and I used the Bloodthorn rapier. No, I didn't. I used the axe, the Tectonic Great Axe. At least that way I was able to get the improved crit from the earrings. I had damage mitigation from the Great Axe, and I had attack speed from the bow. Then I just used good stuff on his for his helmet and and the tunic. I probably use this one. So in general, you want to improve his crits. He's a really good damage dealer. You want to use him for different purposes, and also the artifact is kind of important. I'm using Leo's Pride on him. That's very suboptimal. I didn't used to do that, but I'm doing some testing right now. So a lot of people are even going Halcyon Edge. I got that one on my roof here right now, but using this one because you improve your attack speed and it stacks on top of the dagger. That's very useful. You get more damage, and he can also resurrect if you got the 5-star on the Halcyon Edge. This is a very, very useful tool on him. Another way to go with the artifact are to use the mirror of reality. Then you get 2 of those bad boys. That is ridiculously good. He can't cast abilities for the first 30 seconds with using this, but all the other stuff still applies. So it's the mirror of reality are really, really good on the Bazric. So yeah, that's the artifacts I would prefer to use on him. So, but I'm playing dwarf. I have different ways to view the world, sort of say. I'm playing with mechs, which I want to keep those alive if you catch my drift. So that's why you can see I have the mirror of reality on Gavka, but I'm doing some testing as well. I'm trying to see if Rufio can be my dragon slayer. That's why he's using the dragon figurine, and also use the axe to keep him alive. Try to use the dagger, but he dies too quick, and he also has the resurrection. So I'm doing some testing here, but let's not derail too much here. So in terms of trinkets, I got this one from the Void. You can go with more attack. You can go with the earrings are very useful because it frees up a weapon slot, and it's not always that you got a flawless divine bloodthorn rapier. You can, for some abyss levels and some void stages, you might consider doing like a corrosive halberd. Particularly in the abyss and in the void, there are multiple levels where you have to kind of tack for the level. It means you have to get your best weapons for to counter that specific stage. Particularly mech stages, those mech suits can be really hard to deal with. So those corrosive halberds, those can be very useful. Same with the abyss. Those mech suits can be really, really tough to deal with. So, but you need to have a lot of stones in order to craft those weapons, and most of the time you're not on top of the stone income. So yeah, you have to see if you can afford it or not. To improve my troops, for my command gear. On my heroes, I always run a command gear. Not in this one. Yeah, there we go. And this, then I'm using the Messianic Scepter. That's my main bronze troop supply. Weapon. I'm getting 30 plus 30 bronze troop plus the command on the weapon itself. That's pretty good, and that will substantially improve your gold supply on the other hand. But that's a different topic. Alright, I hope you find this video useful. There are probably multiple ways to go with the Bazric. That hasn't been discussed here, but once you start experimenting, you will see different ways to utilize him. You also need to dig a little deep in the rogue research tree to really improve it. The rogues hero and the mechanist like Jack, they really appreciate the research because they're already dealing so much damage. So every percent you can get on the top of it in terms of health and attack, that will make a significant impact on the battlefield. Alright, that's it. Have a good day.